And here it is. The stream of life is something that we're all born into, like it or not. We don't ask to be born. We don't ask to be born into what we're born into. We just are, and we're in the stream. And we're in the stream. And you know, streams just move, and they just keep on moving, don't they? Okay, so like any other stream, there are pebbles that we bump into, right? Right from the get-go, really, right? Little experiences of mild to moderate stress, which is actually very healthy to development. We'll talk about why that is. If we don't have a little bit of stress, then we don't actually develop self-regulation in the way we need to. So with these pebbles comes that level of stress and adjustment and having to figure it out or cope or learn how to navigate around the pebble. So when a little baby is born, you know, we hope it's having a nice sensory experience on the breast, but soon enough they're off the breast and okay, they can have a bottle and they go, oh, all right, the bottle. I can adjust to that. And they're sucking their bottle. But then, of course, now they've got to be introduced to solid foods and they don't get to suck on the bottle anymore, but maybe they get to have a binky. And they go, oh, okay, I get to have my binky, and off they're going off in the stream, right, adjusting to the little changes and developmental milestones that come their way. And so then, of course, you know, we can't ruin their teeth. Out goes the binky, and they go, okay, but they get to keep their blankie. So they've got their blankie now and all is well. They've got something to soothe them through the stream full of pebbles. So they've got their blankie and everything's okay until, of course, they're too big for the blankie and that's got to go because they're a big boy. And they're starting school and they're starting what? And where are you? And why aren't you going to be here with me today? And off they go to their first day of school, right? So this is, listen, if they go to that first day of school, right, it's not about the elimination of stress. It's not what we're talking about today. So it's not about eliminating that. They have these experiences, and if, you know, how wonderful is it when they come back and say, ah, I did it. I had my first day of school. You weren't even there, Mom. You should have seen me, right? That sense of, I've overcome. Mild to moderate stress is important so that we get this sense of overcoming something and building our strength and our reserve, okay? In the field of ethology, which is the study of animals in the wild, this takes on a whole interesting terminology, actually. We'll learn a new word today. Imagine a bunny being chased by a coyote, and if you watch the Discovery Channel or, you know, Animal Planet, you might see this happening. So let's imagine. Okay? I'm going to help you imagine here. So a bunny's running from the coyote, and it's in fight or flight, and it's got to get away from the coyote. And it's going, and it's going, and it's going, and it's going, and you feel it, and you feel it, right? Now, if at some point that bunny is in this frantic fight or flight, and it looks back, and the coyote's gone, it goes, its whole jump changes. And it goes, I got away. I got away. And it's this whole huge thing. The chest is out. Oh my gosh, look what I did. I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive. Right? I can do it. I can do anything. Look what I did. Okay? This pronking experience is exactly what our students don't have or get anymore at all. There's no mastery in education anymore. We're covering content on a test, right? So they don't get to master something and say, look what I did, look what I can do. And a nervous system that doesn't get to marinate in mastery is a nervous system that shuts down. We can't, you know, there are boulders. Can't call everything a pebble, certainly not puberty. So sometimes we smuck into boulders sometimes too, right? That would fall on the moderate stress and climbing, okay? But all of these things are within the normal range of human experience, right? These are developmental hurdles that, you know, get overcome. Now, what isn't okay, what doesn't help development in a really healthy way is, you know, those single searing events. Sometimes it's a straw that breaks the camel's back, because there is a cumulative effect of stress on the nervous system over time. And sometimes that thing that breaks the camel's back, we might say, oh, what was the big deal about that? Right? But for that particular person, brain, body, nervous system, that was the final straw. And what happens when you have these either single searing events or the straw that breaks the camel's back is we are thrust out of the life stream in one or another direction, either into an over-aroused pattern of behavior or an under-aroused pattern of behavior. If you were to superimpose that zone of optimum arousal onto this life stream, right, you would see that when you're in the life stream, you're in the zone, right? Mild to moderate amounts of stress. So the nervous system goes up and down in response to mild to moderate amounts of stress and overcoming that and developing this self-regulatory capacity, right? But when this happens, no matter what that is, I'll tell you, I had so many boys, big and small, that would tell me their plan. The neocortex loves to make plans. But when something like this happens and we're thrust out of the stream and the amygdala is going like this is shut down. It doesn't work well. So this is a big problem for us as educators, trying to teach that brain body, that person. So these boys that would tell me their plans of what they were going to do to stop that man from touching their mother ever again. And of course, what happens? What happens? When that starts to happen in front of that boy, big or small, right? You go into a freeze is what happens. That brain in milliseconds decides you will do nothing. Because if you go in there, you're dead. Or somebody else is. Right? It's survival. It's about survival. And it's our survival first. That's just how we're hardwired. So it would stop him. So what happens is that freeze, right? There's such a shame that comes from it. That freeze is this, it renders them so powerless. They can't stop this terrible thing from happening to them. They can't control their own body. Right? Talk about really feeling like you have no control. When your body just does for you what it will do. So, and then to not be able to stop something from happening to the people you love. This is deep, deep shame, powerlessness. That is what you're experiencing in them right now. Because those neural connections for a freeze are really primed in their brain, you see. So anytime they experience stress, they go into that freeze response. That becomes more and more automatic. So it's not oppositional defiant disorder. Dr. Bruce Perry, the greatest American alive, out there as an advocate, helping us to really understand. And he says it's not oppositional defiant disorder, it's a freeze. They're frozen in there. They can't move. They're stress, right? Stress comes at them and they go, and they just sit there and they don't move. So this over-aroused and under-aroused pattern, right, comes from, and it may look, ODD may fit in there, oppositional defiant disorder. Sometimes it fits into here. It's all over the place. But we really do pathologize these states of arousal that are the natural response of the brain. There's something really wrong, and they're naturally responding to the wrong that is, and trying to be prepared for it so that they can survive it, right? Over-aroused in the schools, ADHD, right? Under-aroused depression. When they bounce back and forth beautifully, it's bipolar. And maybe there's a pill for all this stuff, right? Maybe a pill's going to take it all away. Is it taking it all away? It's not taking anything away. It's giving us more problems. We've got side effects to medications, then they try them on the cocktails, they up the dosage, there's a little bit of that, a little bit of that. You got them coming up or coming down from it and going back up on it. It's a mess. It's helping nothing. What we need to do is not allow them, we have to stop doing what we're doing now, which is leaving them to figure out how to get back in the life stream. That's what we're doing right now. So they're floating out here going, you know, their amygdala's going like this and they're activated and they're right and they're going, is anybody going to tell me what this is, man? Like, what's going on inside of me? What do I do about it? And we say, oh gosh, would you go calm down? They're not verbally saying that to us, but that's their experience inside. And what we're verbally saying to them when they're up in their activation is, would you go calm down, right? And they're going, okay, that sounds really good. I'd really like to calm down, right? Is any one of us explaining and showing and allowing them to practice how to calm down? That's an interesting concept, isn't it? To actually show them, model for them, give them a chance to practice. So here we have all of these behaviors when they're 0-10ing outside of the life stream. Now, how desperately do they want to get back into the life stream? Desperately. Right now, they're going, am I ever going to feel okay again? Am I ever going to feel okay again? And they can feel the activation. They can feel everything going, right? It's this buzzy, jumpy, skittish feeling that they have inside their skin, and they're very aware of it. And they don't know what to do about it, and nobody's talking to them about it, right? Nobody's showing them how to get out of this. So here it is, they're going like this. Well, if we don't get to them, if we don't talk about the big white elephant in the room in education, which is the effects of stress and pressure, we're not having this conversation in education? What's going on? This is it. This is the issue, right? Is this fast-moving world that's stressing everybody out and nobody's talking about it. So everybody's left with this and not knowing what they can do. So what happens in our little ones? If you're an elementary school teacher, what are your students doing to try to get some relief? Guys, because it's physiological relief that they need and they're craving and they know they need it and they're desperately seeking it and they don't know where to look. Okay? Physiological relief is what they need. So how are our little elementary school children who are left to their own devices? They're all on a sinking island, right? Because nobody's saying, here's the life, what's it called? Preserver. Here it is. Right? This is how you do it. So instead, they're eating. They're eating. They're chewing on their, video gaming completely, right? They're, jumping or biting their nails. They're pulling out their hair. They're digging into their skin. They're pulling pencils apart, right? These are the babies that have sore tummies and headaches. They don't feel well. I don't feel well. I need to go see the nurse. And we send them to the nurse, and the nurse takes their temperature and does their little thing and says, oh, there's nothing wrong with this child. And the child's going, yes, there is. There is something wrong with me, right? So you'll read in the book, my 8-year-old girls that were sticking their fingers down their throat. They learned how to barf to feel some relief. And to say, look, there's really something wrong with me. Who's going to help me? They're going to further and further extremes. They're sniffing glue. If you've got them any older, what are they doing? Drugs, alcohol, cutting, sex. And if you're an adult, maybe you're gambling or shopping or, right? This is all it is, guys. It's our activation. And the quick fix or the Band-Aid, right? Because nobody's helped us to understand that there are these healthier, quick ways to bring it down. So that's what they're doing when they're left to their own devices about trying to figure it out. We need to show them how. So here's how we do it.